Hey guys, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. Listen, I want to go ahead and talk about last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Today's premiere is dedicated to Miss Drew Sidora.
Drew better sit her little Mickey Mouse built like a box ass down.
Drew, you were the most annoying cast member in last night's episode. But before we get into that, I do want to mention Watch What Happens live last night. Shout out to Portia D. Williams and Sheree Whitfield. Portia was lovely, likable, funny as always. We cannot wait for her grand return to RHOA. Sheree Whitfield, that's a completely different story. Sheree, why do I feel like you're lying about this nose job? Why do I feel like you lying about the plastic surgery that you did to your face?
Right. What am I looking at? Have you had a little tune-up? Lips?
Wait a
anything?
minute.
No?
No.
No. Okay.
She
All right.
said no.
Okay.
The lies, the lies, the lies, the lies. Listen, now, you can lie about your face. You don't have to be honest about it. I mean, you know, she, I guess, took notes from Kenya. And listen, she looked beautiful before. She looks beautiful now. Doesn't really matter. Nobody really cares. But I'm just here to let y'all know I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Beautiful nonetheless. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. Listen, again, I'm not going to rag on any of the girls except for Drew Sidora because I kind of feel like, Drew, you deserve all the smoke. But again, before we get into that, congratulations is in order for Miss Kandi and Todd Tucker. They attended the 2023 Tony Awards because the revival of August Wilson's Piano Lesson was nominated. Unfortunately, they did not win. However, it is still such an honor and a blessing to be nominated. They still are, going to participate. And I believe they're on the producing team for The Wiz, which is, from what I read, a Broadway-bound revival, right, of The Wiz. And so, listen, that's an amazing musical. Maybe they can get a Tony for that. But shout out to Kandi. Being nominated is a huge, huge, huge deal. And we know Kandi has aspirations, goals, and dreams of becoming the next EGOT winner. So, let's talk about last night's episode. Last night's episode was really interesting. Y'all, I just bit the inside of my mouth. Last night's episode was really interesting because it started off with this montage, right? In which the fans are saying that there's a NeNe erasure, that they are erasing NeNe Leakes from the history books. And so when they did the montage, they showed this title card. And it was quite interesting because where's NeNe? This is from season 4. We have Cynthia Bailey, Kim Zolciak, Kandi Burruss Tucker, Sheree Whitfield, Phaedra Parks, and Lenithia should be right next to Phaedra on the end, and yet she's not there. What's going on? Is this a part of the settlement, the lawsuit settlement, in which I guess maybe they agreed to not use NeNe's likeness from here on out? I highly doubt that. I really and truly believe that Bravo was just being petty. Bravo is just being petty. Exhibit A. NeNe earlier today went on to Twitter and said, "Thank you, Tweety Pies, for all your DMs and comments. I see everything you are sending me. It's really just a shame people can do these things and get away with it. If only you really knew, if only you knew." Well, honey, if you're trying to allude to the fact that, maybe we should know something, how about you let us know? And she did let us know some things onto the lawsuit and stuff like that. But she referenced like a lot of housewives that she never worked for. She referenced Kim Zolciak saying that she don't want to eat chicken with NeNe and Deshaun and the girls. Okay, how Kim Zolciak didn't want to get outside when she stepped off the exit in Cascade Chow at, Kandi's new house. Or how she said racism did not exist before the year 2008, before social media. Kim, you're dumb. Kim, you're dumb for saying that. Kim, that was stupid. So yeah. Anyways, so listen, if we only knew, just tell us. Remember during the pandemic, she kept saying that, like, if y'all only knew, if y'all knew the things that were happening behind the scenes, let us know. I mean, at this point, you called the boss a racist. You called Wendy Williams a cokehead. You sued them. You wasted Ben Crump's time for a measly Instagram live just to drop the damn lawsuit. Was it the money? Did y'all go to mediation? Was there a settlement? I don't get it. And I don't think using her likeness from this point forward is a part of the settlement, because then why was she going to Twitter talking about it's really just a shame that these people can get away with this? If you only knew, that means she's not happy at the fact that this erasure, is taking place. And I know the fans aren't, because they feel as though NeNe is the foundation for RHOA. She created RHOA, not created, but she was a huge part of its success. Some people even think that she's a huge part of Bravo's success in general. Excuse me. So listen, they're really upset. But why is Bravo being petty? Why are they doing this? Well, Exhibit A. Okay. Back in 2020, August of 2020, almost 3 years ago, my friend went on to Instagram stories and said @NeNe Leakes was the best thing to happen in the later seasons of Glee. So I guess NeNe randomly was going through her requested folder and wanted to send fans a petition to boycott Bravo and NBC Universal. Okay. And y'all, when I said this way back in 2020, 3 years ago, y'all said that I was lying. Y'all said that NeNe never did that. NeNe wouldn't send out petitions to fans in the DMs. And what is this? And yet we're wondering why in the hell they would excommunicate NeNe from the flashbacks. We're wondering why they would edit her ass out. Okay, how can you say no thoughts allowed? Not saying that NeNe's a thought. Just a funny reference. She was going through her requested folder, sending fans this petition, right? It says, sign this petition. She sent out the link. It says, sign and send to your friends to do the same. Now, what did the petition say? Okay, y'all called me a liar all them years ago. Boycott Bravo and NBC Universal. This petition is putting Bravo TV on notice that fans of the shows Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine hold them accountable for their dirty deeds, particularly as it relates to the unfair and biased treatment that they have displayed towards their African-American talent, more specifically, NeNe Leakes and Mariah Huq. And in 3 years, the petition garnered over 15,166 signatures. Okay. And you're wondering, is this really a DM from NeNe? Yes. I texted my friend this morning because I remember my friend, telling me about this DM. And then I came to y'all without the screenshot. Maybe I did have a screenshot. I think I did, actually. And y'all were saying, it's not real. It's not real. It is real. Where's the verified sign? Y'all see where her name is in bold? At the top, it says NeNe Leakes and then ... The verified sign would be after the ... The name is too big. It doesn't fit within the dimensions of the screenshot. That's why the verified sign is not there. But if you look at the username, damn, I keep deleting it. If you look at the username, that's NeNe's username. This is really her. Okay, NeNe Leakes. No one else has this Instagram handle. This was not tampered with. This is not Facetune AI, Photoshop, none of that. This is a direct screenshot that I put my name over that was sent to me by my friend. It's his screenshot. He's not a Housewives fan. He doesn't have a dog in this fight. It's completely 100% authentic and real. And so how do we not expect Bravo to be petty when she whole ass tried to get her fans not to watch Bravo any longer? I mean, it is what it is. So honestly, NeNe chose her pathway. She wanted to go against the network. She wanted to call them racist. She wanted to say that they were fostering a hostile work environment. She wanted to press, do the lawsuit and things like that. And so this is what happens. They're being petty and they want to erase her. It is what it is. I see both sides like Chanel. All right, so moving right along, let's go ahead and talk about, last night's episode. So that was the beginning of the episode, right? So let me go ahead and talk about the fight. So I see a lot of people on social media. Let me see if I can get a picture of Marlo. I see a lot of folks on social media. They keep saying, why 2 years later? Why 3 years later? Why all of these years later? Okay. Why 3 days after the nephew's death? Why are you talking to Kandi about Cameo? Okay, so I don't know if you guys live in the real world, but usually when someone dies, like, you still have to work. Okay. You still have to work. Then I see this other thing like, oh, Marlo didn't even know that the nephew worked at Old Lady Gang. Okay, maybe she did not know, but when she found out, like that doesn't make a difference. Does Marlo not knowing where her nephew currently worked or worked previously in the past, year, does that really make that huge of a difference? Like, it's still her nephew, no matter if she knew where the man worked or not. I have family members, they don't know what I do and they still love me. They still care for me. Even if we're not super close. I'm sure family members who I'm not super close with, if something was to happen to me, they would feel a ways. They would send out support. They would be concerned with the situation. That does not matter. It does not matter. And it also doesn't matter that the man was no longer working for Kandi at the time of his death. That doesn't matter. Kandi's professional relationship with the man really doesn't matter. Your expression of concern toward Marlo should be simply off the strength of your relationship with Marlo. Does that make sense? You're not showing concern because he worked for you. You're showing concern because he worked for you and Marlo is his aunt and your colleague of 15 plus years. Okay, again, let me do another example. If I was to pass today and my grandmother told her friends and her colleagues that I passed, I'm sure they would be concerned, send out condolences and cards and flowers and, extend their help, even if they never met me a day in their life, because they're concerned. They're really not concerned for my death. They're concerned for the well-being of my grandmother and how she feels. Even if you didn't know the nephew, you don't care about the nephew. You know Marlo. You've been colleagues with Marlo for years on years on years on years. You should be really concerned for her. Okay. Now, Kandi gains a point for hugging her because we did get that unseen footage in the beginning of the episode. So Kandi does receive a point for that. But do I feel as though Marlo's feelings are still 100% valid? I absolutely do. Okay. So again, going back to my original point, the folks are saying 2 years later, why are you bringing it up 2 years later? Okay, your points are valid. Your feelings are valid. Why 2 years later? You're trying to make it into a storyline. You're using your nephew's death as a storyline. You're exploiting your family. It is her family to exploit. She is a part of the family. And if Crystal, who was super close to Quentin, doesn't have an issue with it being displayed on television, why do we? Why are we offended for Marlo's family more than Marlo's own family? When Marlo brought up, what was it? When Marlo brought up Quentin's death in front of Crystal, apparently Crystal and Quentin were like this. Did Crystal feel some sort of way? Was Crystal offended at the fact that Marlo brought up the nephew's death? Like, we're never supposed to talk about somebody's death. Like, once someone dies, we just forget about them. We never talk about them again. Is that how y'all operate? That's really cruel and weird. Okay. Listen, I don't mean to judge, on how people grieve and how they deal with death, but I just kind of feel like that's weird. You need therapy if you want to erase people from, the earth and your memories because they're dead and gone. Listen, if Crystal didn't have an issue with it, why do we? If the family doesn't have an issue with her exploiting, the family trauma for a storyline, why do we? And again, she's a part of the family. So in my opinion, she has every right to tell her story onto the TV screen, especially when it relates to one of her cast members. That is just my position. Y'all are going to be upset with it, but listen, what's new? All right? Listen, the reason why she's coming up with this 2 years later is because her family was in her ear. Her family kept asking, what about Kandi? What did Kandi do? Is she sending flowers? Is she paying for this? Is she going to do this? Is she going to do that? Is she going to reach out to the mama? Is she going to? And Marlo's like, I don't know. Why do y'all care so much? Yada, yada, yada. And I'm sure that was happening for weeks and weeks and weeks, if not months and months and months after the man's death, right? So the cameo, her reaching out to Kandi 3 days later, why would Marlo feel a ways about flowers only 3 days later after his death? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Right? Why would I expect flowers at my door 3 days after his death? That's really soon. Now, if 3 months pass by and you ain't send no flowers, that's when I'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. But 3 days later, like, and I'm assuming months and months and months, her family was bothering her. What did Kandi say? What is she gonna do? Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Now, is Kandi obligated? No. But I feel as though she, flowers would have been, nice. Listen, her family was in her ear. She stated in last night's episode that she did not realize that this situation bothered her so much until Drew Sidora and Candace Dillard Bassett's performance. Okay. And she also stated previously that she was triggered by cousin Melvin's injury due to a shooting at Blaze Steak and Seafood. Those are the 3 reasons why she's bringing it up. These are the answers. And listen, you don't have to agree with it, but y'all gonna learn to listen. 3 reasons why she's bringing it up 2 years later. Her family was in her ear the past 2 years. She did not realize that it bothered her until City Winery, that scene, and she was triggered by cousin Melvin's incident. She gave you the reasons why she's bringing it up 2 years later. You either accept it or you don't. Okay? And I don't know why we're taking out the humanity of the storyline, acting like people don't harbor feelings from years ago. Okay? You've never had something deep down in your subconscious brain, your subconscious thoughts, and then it kind of manifests itself, in today's time. And then you realize, I didn't know that in which happened years ago still bothered me today. Right? For instance, an example, I had a friend that I fell out with years ago. Periodically throughout the years, on a day-to-day, I'll say this, on a day-to-day basis, I don't really think about this person. It doesn't really bother me. I don't think it bothered me. It doesn't really affect my day-to-day, right? But I started to notice periodically throughout the years that, sporadically I would have these dreams about this person that I fell out with. And in my opinion, that was confirmation that the situation still bothered me. That I had suppressed these feelings and these thoughts. They were pushed back into my subconscious brain. And me having these nightmares or dreams about this said person that I fell out with years ago, to me was confirmation that even though it didn't bother me on a day-to-day basis, deep down inside, it was still festering. Are we going to act like things like that never happen to people? Okay. So then fast forward to last night's episode, we get this fight. Okay, so let me pull up the fight. This is the fight. Is this it? Okay, so wait, I don't want to show that one yet. It's this one. Okay, I don't think I have a choice. Is it this? Okay, this. Kandi came, they do the beat the bomb. I think that's what it's called. The escape room. They do challenges and they team build and stuff like that. Courtney brought all the girls together. Okay. Newsflash, half the girls went home before they could even beat the bomb because of this fight. Kandi came in. Excuse me. Y'all, I'm burping like a crazy person. Kandi came in and she was unready. She was ready to go. She was not feeling it. She did not want to be happy, cheery, hunky-dory, go lucky. She had heard through Kenya that Marlo was going around town, and Kenya, you owe this world an apology, that Marlo was going around town telling folks that one of Kandi's employees shot and killed her nephew, who was also an employee at the restaurant. So in Kandi hyped up in her head, because I really still to this day, or at least to that day, don't believe that Kandi really understood what was Marlo's gripe. I think in Kandi's head, she's thinking, you're trying to make it seem like all of my employees are just up there shooting. When really, I think Drew, Sheree, Kenya Moore, Hair Care, and some of the other ladies need to bear some of the responsibility for playing this really sucky game of telephone, because Marlo never said that the nephew's killer worked at Old Lady Gang. She said that they met at Old Lady Gang, right? And you could tell Kandi already had this preconceived notion like, no, that's not true. It's a clip in there where she goes that, you know, the nephew Quentin met the man. These are her words verbatim. That the nephew met the man at Old Lady Gang. Kandi goes, that's not true. Kandi, how do you know who this man met at your restaurant? Like y'all said, she's not there all the time. She's not the manager. How do you know? And then Kandi goes, he did not work there. The killer did not work there. Marlo never said that. She said he just met the roommate, the killer, at Old Lady Gang. Marlo never said that the shooter or the killer worked for Kandi as well. We know that Quentin worked for Kandi, and we know that Melvin's, you know, the guy who shot Melvin worked for Kandi, I believe. But Marlo never said that. Kenya, I believe, brought that back to Kandi, and it was inaccurate information, disinformation, misinformation. Okay. So anyways, they were, I think, paraphrasing, and everybody was getting the story wrong because nobody, I don't think, allowed Marlo to really explain the situation because it's a very complex, emotional situation that spans, again, 2 years. So if you don't listen, then you're not going to get the real story and you're not going to understand the gravity of how Marlo feels. And during this conversation right here in last night's episode, I felt like Marlo was trying to be calm. She was trying to articulate her feelings and go, explain and express the story in a chronological order. And you can tell Kandi at every turn was ready to cut Marlo off. And I believe the only reason why Marlo enlisted Drew into the conversation was to confirm or deny Marlo's account. And as you can tell, Drew Sidora looked at Marlo and could not really even rebut anything because everything Marlo said was not a lie. Marlo did not lie. Okay. Now, what I will say, I will get on Marlo. Again, I think Marlo slightly misrepresented the situation because I did think it was nice that Kandi gave her a hug when they were at her house. But Marlo, when she recounted the order of events, it was pretty much exactly how she described it. Okay. Okay, so with that being said, so Marlo is calmly explaining her position. She never really got to finish. Kandi kept interrupting her. Kandi kept getting hype. Marlo said that the nephew was never shot at the restaurant or by an employee of the restaurant. So Kandi received some misinformation from Kenya and Sheree and Drew and the rest of the girls. And then Kandi just all of a sudden keeps yelling, he no longer worked with us. Kandi kind of explodes. Marlo never lunged at her. Marlo never touched her. Marlo kept her hands to her side the entire time. Kandi got loud. Kandi got hyped. Kandi got aggressive. Did Marlo match that energy? Absolutely. But in this situation, and I watched it so many times and I rewinded it and I rewatched and I came to the conclusion that Kandi was the aggressor in this particular situation and she was more aggressive than Marlo. Which brings us to Miss Drew Sidora.
Drew better sit her little Mickey Mouse built like a box ass down.
So these two, Kandi and Marlo, are steady. They arguing. They doing all of this stuff. Drew goes, Marlo's being aggressive. Marlo's being so aggressive. Marlo's being so aggressive. Someone take her outside. She's being so aggressive. Oh my God, Marlo is really being all of that. She's being all of this, that, and the third. Really? She's being that aggressive? Okay, well, what's interesting to me is that earlier in the episode, Drew and Ralph were talking about Marlo, and I could have sworn Drew Sidora said this.
It could go really left. She finna bring Chicago all the way out. Because, you know, if you touch me or provoke me, I feel like I could beat your ass.
You're gonna beat Marlo. Marlo a big one.
You ain't never seen me fight.
I feel like I can beat your ass. And then she tells her husband, you ain't never seen me fight. Okay. Listen, also in this photograph, hold on, let me put back up this photograph. Where is it? This one. Who is holding back who? Look at this photo closely. Who is holding back who? It looked like Marlo got her hands to herself, and then Kandi is doing this. Kandi kind of did like a slight jump, Like she got real hype and said, "Roop," like a nuck if you buck. And you can see Drew is holding back Kandi with her hand. Because Kandi is the one that's becoming irate. Okay, so that's Exhibit A. And then this right here is Exhibit B. This was earlier in the episode. Drew talking to Ralph, her husband, about fighting Marlo.
It could go
I'm gonna
really
play it again.
left. She finna bring Chicago all the way out. Because, you know, if you touch me or provoke me, I feel like I could beat your ass.
You're gonna beat Marlo. Marlo a big one.
You ain't never seen me fight.
You ain't ever seen me fight. I feel like I can beat your ass. But yeah, Marlo's the aggressive one in the group. Okay. Marlo is the aggressive one in the group. But did you not, do we remember this?
She keeps saying you are aggressive. I'm like, she's not aggressive.
I'm ready. What you wanna do?
I can take you down with one hit. It's an easy one, too. Flat hand.
I'm ready. What you want to do? They're like in the parking lot. Granted, they're jokey, haha, he-heing and kikiing and cackling. But they're like in the parking lot strategizing like, you know, if Marlo was to ever touch us, what we doing? What we doing? Kenya said she gonna strike her in the throat. A little 1-2 step in the throat. And then in the very beginning, what she say?
She keeps saying you are aggressive. I'm like, she's not aggressive.
I'm ready. What you wanna do?
I can take you down with one hit.
I'm ready. What you want to do? When did Marlo Hampton ever become so threatening that you decided that you was going to strategize your karate chop moves? But Marlo is the aggressive one, okay? So you talked about fighting Marlo to your husband. You're talking about fighting Marlo to Kenya Moore hair care in the parking lot throughout this whole ordeal. Do we also remember this from last season?
Marlo, I got something for you. This is here. Get it, fetch. Okay.
Okay, throwing a bone, trying to be funny. Okay, but Marlo's aggressive. Do we also remember when hold on. Do we remember this? Now, I don't know if this was aggressive, but it was passive aggressive, which is a form of aggression. Swinging those. Listen, I don't know if that's go naked, so let me not say nothing about the hair. But the gel you put on your edges is not go naked, okay? So I can say crusty bundles. Them crusty bundles in Sonya's face. Did you not try to, sling that hair? Did you not receive whiplash from trying to hit Sonya with your bundles? But Marlo's aggressive. Or do y'all remember when she lunged and tried to fight LaToya Ali, LaToya Forever, LaToya, I don't even know her name. She has a different last name every 30 days. Whoa.
Y'all stop.
Not the shapewear.
You from Chicago?
You from Chicago. She's so aggressive. Marlo's so aggressive.
You better sit her little Mickey Mouse built like a box ass down.
Let's watch that again.
I swear to God. Wait. Hold up. Y'all stop. Stop.
Oh, you from Chicago?
Now listen, Marlo Hampton may bang on the door, but she ain't ever did that on the TV screen. But y'all want to go back to the year 2000 or 1999, 23 years ago when she slashed that woman. Now, apparently, according to my sources, they're saying that the woman had a weapon and it could have been self-defense. I don't know what the situation was. I didn't read I don't know. We can talk about 99, the year 2000, but we can't talk about 2020. Okay, we still in the pandemic. Shit. Hell. Okay? We've been living in 2020 since 2020. We can talk about it. But yet Marlo is aggressive. Wow. And then speaking of Chicago, that was really funny when Kenya said, where's Chicago at now?
I swear to God. Wait. Hold up. Y'all stop. Stop.
Oh, you from Chicago?
Now, speaking of, oh, you're from Chicago, she says, oh my God, the reason why Marlo and Kandi are fighting is because I used the word incident instead of shooting. Well, yeah, it kind of did. That was her original trigger, yeah. Sidora went on to Twitter and said a bigger conversation needs to be had about the violence in Chicago and why I say what I say, because her whole thing is actually saying the word shooting is perpetuating the narrative about the gun violence in Chicago. You Shine Bright too said, honestly, we the people of Chicago would like for you to stop making up random things. LOL, you know damn well we say the word shooting. Drew, the girls from Chicago on Twitter are saying that you're lying. And no one really understands the logic. Now, I don't know if I'm slow or undereducated. I might be. If you're from Chicago or live in Chicago, educate me, please. But according to the girlies on Twitter, they say, the lie detector says you're lying. Yeah, Drew, I was so disappointed in you last night. And then Drew was also on Twitter talking about how Marlo should have stayed a friend of. Where is that at? Marlo should have stayed as a ... #RHOA.
Drew better sit her little Mickey Mouse built like a box ass down.
I have a question for you guys in the comments. What has Sidora done in the past 6 episodes? Out of 6 episodes, she wasn't in 2. She had the flu, and I think someone was sick. Her father was sick. She went back to Chicago. The suburbs of Chicago. So that leaves us with 4 episodes she's been in. What has she done? I can only name one thing. She's only done one thing. She's only been a part of 2 scenes that were partly significant. She sung with Candace Diller Bassett at the City Winery and asked Kenny about the incident. And then Marlo yelled at her about the incident. But Drew, what else have you done this season? And I know you guys are going to be really, passionate. And I know you guys are about to run up and defend the girl. And I know you guys are about to be super, super ready to say, well, she's going through a divorce, so the latter part of the season, it's going to be about her. Get somebody else to do it. That don't cut it. No. If we remember history correctly, okay? Because don't rewrite the history. I feel like, okay, since Marlo's talking about you should have stayed a friend, since you messing with Marlo's check, I'm finna mess with Drew's check. Drew, you don't deserve your 20% bump next year. You thought you wanted to be a Robin Dixon, and you thought it was cute how I believe Sidora wanted to evade her real life. She wanted to evade the cameras. She wanted to deflect and not really show the real. Because remember when they was running to the courthouse to go file? Tell me why that happened, I don't know, maybe a day or 2 after filming for the season wrapped? So Drew Sidora and Ralph Pittman never really intended for us to see the divorce play out. They did a Robin Dixon. And honestly, a lot of reality stars do this. They wait till the cameras go down to make a really big life decision instead of letting the people really see what we really came here to see. Now, granted, I don't think we're owed these people's entire life. However, if I was an executive producer, I would be pretty upset at the situation. You're really going to wait a day or 2 after we finish wrapping to file for divorce? No 20% bump next year. You tried it. So Eric Fuller did what he needed to do and started filming some more scenes. Thank God they had enough sense to do that. Because Drew Sidora really tried to get out. Okay, she pulled a Portia, the biggest, best storyline of her life. She quit. You're trying to evade the camera, sis. So what we do see of the divorce will only be extra added on footage that was filmed after the season already wrapped. We honestly, and then by that point, she had already probably got her PR together and all of her gay assistants and all of her people, all 50 million of them, the entourage, to come up with a concoction on the narrative that she wants to spew onto the TV screen. Instead of us having like a real time, sort of reaction toward it, the situation. So yeah, I guess the latter season will be about the divorce, but let's not pretend like she did not try to let this divorce play out off camera. Okay, so Drew Sidora, yeah, I'm gonna hit you with that.
Mickey Mouse built like a box ass down.
Besides her performing with Candace Dillard Bassett and besides Marlo screaming at her, what has Drew Sidora done in the past 6 episodes? And then this is why I also don't feel like she deserves her 20% pay raise next year. I don't know if it's 20%, 5%. I don't know what the hell it is. I'm just talking at this point, but y'all get what I'm saying. This woman right here, she doesn't deserve her 20%. I'm sorry. I know she's a black woman in America and we need all our coins. But listen, I'm here to clock the tea and I'm here to tell the truth. Kandi left after the almost fight with Marlo Hampton. Kandi left. And after Kandi left, this one left as well. So the only folks that were there to really do the beat the bomb escape room activities was Courtney, Sheree, Marlo, and Sonia. Drew Sidora decided to leave. And I kind of feel like, why would you do that? If you already missed Alabama because you had the flu, and you already missed Ross's 40th birthday party because you were out there in Chicago, you already missed 2 episodes, and you're willfully, voluntarily leaving filming early. And for what reason? Because Queen Kandi left? No. I understand why Kandi left. Kandi just got done. When that vein pop out right there, that means Kandi actually did some work. So Kandi, you can clock out. You, ma'am, you've already missed 2 days. You've already missed 2 episodes. You can't miss 2 episodes, an unexcused absence, and then decide you want to leave early after your queen just left. No. You don't deserve that raise next season. I'm not saying she should be fired or demoted. I'm saying she don't deserve the raise. You've missed 2 episodes and you left early? No. If I'm the manager, if I'm the executive, if I'm the producer, girl, you deserve some discipline for what you did to Kandi, for following behind Kandi, I should say. This woman right here, what was your excuse for leaving? Queen Kandi left the building. They talk about the trick gotta go, the trick gotta go. Kenya, what was your excuse for leaving early? Why couldn't you beat the bond with the rest of the girls, Sheree, Courtney, and, what was the reason? Kenya planned one of the worst trips in RHOA history, in Housewives history, if not. Fallon had the worst party, that whack-ass COVID-19 Halloween party with nothing but Colonel, what is that, candy corn, with nothing but candy corn and Tito's. A bowl of candy corn and a bottle of Tito's. The best thing about that party was Fallon's outfit. And I couldn't even look at it. It was too scary. If Fallon has the worst party, then you have the worst trip. After you wasted production's time, you wasted Sonia's time, you wasted everyone's time with this whack-ass, lame-ass, no-good-for-nothing having-ass trip to boring-ass Birmingham, Alabama. You don't have the leeway to be leaving filming early. You don't have, If this was a corporate job and you just in the last project that we had, you fumbled, you can't then start leaving work early. If you have all of these unexcused absences at work, you then can't decide, oh, I'm gonna just, now if you're doing your job and you're exceeding, okay, we'll give you leeway. We'll let you leave work early. But y'all two have been flopping this whole season. And then have the nerve to run after Queen Kandi and leave the scene early. And then they wonder why, you know, they say the Peacock numbers are up. I'll like to see them. I'll be the judge of that. Send me the numbers. But they wonder why RHOA received its lowest live same-day viewers ever. Because of the entitlement. They feel like they don't have to do good trips. They feel like they don't have to show up for work. And they also feel like they can leave early. And then this one. Monietta, bye, girl. Bye. Bye. Pass the peach. Bring Tanya back. Tanya, we're sorry for exposing your cobbled peaches. Please come back and replace this girl. Courtney got Kandi activated in the first episode. Courtney is building real relationships with Sheree and Marlo and Sonya and the rest of the girls. Courtney is awkwardly imposing herself into situations. I mean, last night's episode, you know, she touched Kandi and was like, I'm so sorry. It was fake and it was so funny and I loved it. She planned this entire thing for the ladies and they still ended up doing the escape room with just Sheree and Marlo and the girls and Sonya. And what has Monietta done? Just run after Queen Kandi. These three, And then you wondering why you feel so compelled to go on Carlos King's show in order to convince him and the rest of the world that you're not a lap dog or you're not a puppet and Kandi is the puppet master. If last night, and I've been saying this for like 2 months now, Kandi is the puppet master, and if last night didn't show y'all that she got Kenya's puppet in one hand and Drew's and Monietta's puppets in the other hand doing this, telling them when to eat, when to sleep. What's wrong with Bob? Something is wrong with this equation, and then wondering why y'all have low ratings. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day.